Sunday afternoon in Las Vegas and the close to what has already been an exciting week 2 in the Big 3. Today begins with the Ghost Ballers and the Enemies on CBS. Look at the full slate coming up. It's Bivouac led by Will Bynum against Tri-State, and Game 3 to close the day, the Aliens taking on the Ball Hogs. Well, the Hall of Famer Lisa Leslie has had a busy week in Vegas on Wednesday, leading the WNBA All-Stars to victory over Team USA. And yesterday, the triplets getting by power on a big day from Joe Johnson here at Orleans Arena. And from the sideline to the microphone, Lisa Leslie here with us. Simon Cohen, great to be with you. It's week 2, but Lisa, the games yesterday were terrific, and here another big slate at Orleans Arena. Yesterday
was phenomenal, and I'm looking forward to today. I got to tell you, Ed, when you look at the matchup with these 7-footers, you have Isaiah Austin, who's playing for the Enemies, against Chris Johnson. These two 7-footers are not like your normal 7-footers, folks. They can shoot the 3-ball. They can cross over from inside out. They have the up and down, inside out, whatever you want to see. Shot blockers, and they're very familiar with each other because they played together in China as well.
Lisa, Enemies, youngest team in the Big 3, but you mentioned Isaiah Austin. What a debut last week.
He had an awesome outbreak. When you talk about him being #1 draft and then really stepping up, inside out, knocking down the 3-ball, slamming. It was just phenomenal for him to come out. And of course, they didn't win, but he gets a chance to rectify that today. And then Mike Taylor's gonna have something to say about that because he's just a bucket waiting to happen. His stat line is crazy. 20 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. He had 3 steals, 2 blocks. Such a fast guy, and he brings the energy, really the heart and soul of the Ghost Ballers.
He brings a little bit of everything. Let's take a look at the PNC Bank rosters. Ricky Davis, captain of the Ghost Ballers. Swaggy P, Nick Young leading the Enemies. And Lisa, in terms of overdraft protection, what are you watching for today?
Well, for my overdraft protection as a USC Trojan, I got to go with the Trojans out there, and that's going to be Swaggy P. Nick Young has got to come through. He got a welcome. He was very quiet last week. This week's he's got to really step up, and then his teammate Elijah Stewart as well.
From the Spirit of Troy to the man from Tucson, Gilbert Arenas, former Arizona Wildcat, year 1 as head coach of the Enemies, and the Iceman, Hall of Famer George Gervin, leading the Ghost Ballers once again here in 2021 in the Big 3. Review of the key rules in the Big 3. First 50 wins. There's no game clock, and most unique is the 4-point shot. 3 4-point circles 30 feet away. A player needs any part of their foot on the circle to get a 4-point shot. Over to the third member of our team. Let's say hello to John Spider Sally.
Hey, thank you for having me. And like I said, Lisa Leslie is everything. She was a coach, a player. I wish I was more like her, but I'm not going to go with Swaggy P. I'm going to go with Ricky because Ricky's a vegan like me. I'm just saying, Swaggy didn't do so well last week and Ricky killed it. I'm just pointing out what happened last week. The competition is unbelievable, way higher than I ever thought it was going to be. I'm enjoying it. See you then.
He's keeping it in the vegan family, Lisa.
He is, and I have no problem with that. Even though I do love my fish, I'm doing better every week, getting better and better with turning down all that meat. So thanks, John. You're inspiring us.
Away we go for this one. Always exciting to start the day here in the Big 3. And a big triple header beginning with the Ghost Ballers and the Enemies. Enemies last week falling to power. Austin, the big game. And the Ghost Ballers getting by the Aliens. Ricky Davis was quiet but nailed the game winner. And right away, Austin misfiring for the Enemies.
Well, this is the matchup I really wanted to see. Also, Swaggy P, how is he going to be able to keep up with Mike Taylor's quickness getting to the basket?
Answer is not easy against Mike Taylor.
Not easy. Swaggy P, I know when you come into this league, it's sometimes you don't realize because you're watching at home how fast and how physical it is.
These Enemies with Austin, Nick Young, Swaggy P, and Elijah Stewart. Young to fall away. They'll get a 2-point shot, fouled by Taylor. Mike Taylor for the Ghost Ballers, getting them on the board.
Absolutely, and again, Mike Taylor will attack the basket. Swaggy P's really got to get in the defensive stance, and you may want to give him a little bit of space because of his quickness, but you also know he's a threat because he can pull up from 3 and also knock down that 17-foot jumper.
In and out. Remember, in the Big 3, if you're fouled shooting a 2-point shot, you get 1 free throw for 2 points. Taylor for 3, and that one's off the mark. So for the Ghost Ballers, Chris Johnson, number 3, with Taylor and Ricky Davis to start. Stewart on a step back, and Taylor there for the board.
Yeah, Stewart off the mark, but knocked down 3 3-pointers last week, and they're hoping that he can pick up where he left off.
The matchup of the bigs, Austin against Chris Johnson. That's a nice looking shot from Isaiah Austin.
Isaiah Austin, nice shot. He plays like, you know, he's a small guard and a big man's body trapped. And so it's going to be a nice matchup with Chris Johnson's game. Very similar, actually, his ability to face up and knock down the 3.
Tie game at 2. Taylor off the dribble and gets it to go.
When you look at the matchup for Ghost Ballers, both Taylor and Davis really cause a problem because they're similar sizes and their game's similar, but their defense is really what's key. When they came out at the start of this game, they started strategizing already about what they were going to do, how they were going to play defense, and that's the key. As Taylor knocked down a 3-ball right on cue.
Lisa, I feel like we can speak about Mike Taylor's energy for an entire broadcast because it's so natural. Austin, fade away over Johnson, looking like he did last week in week 1.
Yeah, Isaiah Austin has a really beautiful shot as a big guy. His touch, nice high arc, as I tell my son, you got to get that ball up. And he didn't shoot a flat shot, which is really beautiful to see from a big guy.
Off one leg, Johnson getting the bounce, and the Ghost Ballers, this is a good start, a 9-4 advantage.
Both teams coming out strong, understanding the importance of getting this win today. And you can't take it for granted. Every possession is really important. And I think the hardest part of now not playing 5-on-5 is the reaction. That shot's taken, boom. Who's there to rebound? That's the key. And sometimes it's just those small details that really makes a difference in changing the outcome of this game.
Elijah Stewart, you mentioned getting to the rebound, and the big finish for, dare we say it, a former USC Trojan.
We dare say it. Fight on.
Taylor works a nice 2-man game with Johnson. Taylor drills the 3, and the Ghost Ballers really shooting it well to start, a 12-6 advantage.
It's going to be important for Nick Young to really understand the pace of the big 3. This 3-on-3 basketball is not easy. And Ricky Davis doing a nice job putting a lot of pressure on him as well.
Timeout on the floor. Gilbert Arenas, a player for the Enemies 2 years ago, now in the head coach's spot. Ghost Ballers riding the hot hand of Taylor early on. They lead it in Vegas. Game 1 to begin the day. Ghost Ballers off to a good start, leading the Enemies 12-6. Play Big 3 Fantasy only on the Super Draft app, and you can win a trip to the Big 3 Finals in the Bahamas. Use the code BIG3 for an instant $30 deposit match. Mike Taylor, 10 early points, Lisa, for the Ghost Ballers.
Mike Taylor came out with the energy that he said he wanted to lead his team, attacking the basket, going strong against both the guards, which puts so much pressure on them, right? Because when you talk about 3-on-3, it's tough to help. And then that's the crucial thing there. You get the rebound, you run out, turn, knock down the 3. Mike Taylor doing it all for the Ghost Ballers.
He's made 4 of his first 6, and he stays out there with Johnson and Davis. See what the Enemies can do out of the timeout. Elijah Stewart kept the handle. Nick Young drains it to beat the 14.
And that was a big 3 for Nick Young right there. Stewart to the basket, almost traveled. Nice kick out.
Great to be with you on CBS. Week 2 from Vegas. Ed Cohen, Lisa Leslie, Hall of Famer, head coach of the Triplets, and John Sally on the sideline. Our entire CBS crew as well, as Taylor's rejected. Good help there by the Enemies.
Nice help in rotation when you look at Johnson coming over, which was nice because the shot clock's running down and he was aware. But here you see the kick back out to Nick Young. Nick Young knocking down a big 3 that the Enemies needed to stay in this game.
He struggled in week 1. Good to see him back on track, as Austin didn't get the Kawhi Leonard type of bounce. Swaggy P and a third chance. Austin the strength, Johnson good D. Never hit the rim. A block, no goaltend. And the three's not there for Davis.
Well, one of the things Iceman talked about is his team really keeping their emotions under control. And that time Taylor, over fussing at the official, almost gave up an open three-point shot.
Nick Young, the drive, and gets the friendly roll.
Yeah, Nick Young right now, you have to take advantage. Sometimes games in basketball, especially in 3-on-3, it's all about momentum. And right now, while Taylor's complaining, this is a great time for the enemies to take advantage of that and continue to attack the basket.
Got the switch on the pick and roll. Good recovery by Stewart to knock it away. Young, but to your point, enemies were down by 6 in the last timeout, and Nick Young hitting a couple of shots to make it a one-point game.
Absolutely, and here I thought that shot ill-advised by Nick Young. He wasn't quite balanced, but he took the shot because maybe he was feeling hot. But sometimes this is where you have to really run an offense, get him into a pick and roll, some other situation, as opposed to just everybody standing around settling for jumpers. This is probably the difference maker that I see when I'm watching, where I'd like to see a little bit more movement and a little less one-on-one, where you can get other players involved and really trust your teammates.
Ricky Davis hits it off the dribble, and the Ghost Ballers reclaim the lead at 14-13. You saw it yesterday. ISO Joe finished with 34, a Big 3 record, and a win for your team against Power. Nice putback there by Elijah Stewart for the enemies, but he started slowly, found his rhythm, and boy, was that fun to watch in game 2.
It was a great game. I think probably go down in history as one of the best, Big 3 games thus far. But when you look at Joe Johnson and him going 1 for 11, that's unprecedented. And, in the 2 seasons that we've been together, I don't think even in practice that he's missed that many shots. But, I got to give a big shout out to, that's the offensive foul there, huh? No?
I think they called the block.
Blocking, nice. But when you get back to the triplets, our players really stepped up big. Jamario Moon knocking down 3-pointers, AA, Alan Anderson doing a great job defensively, really helped us. But this defensive, he was still moving. Davis didn't like the call, but that was the correct call.
Captain Ricky, not that time. Look at the dive there to get it back.
Nice, that's the hustle you want to see.
Mike Taylor around and through, and the backcourt of Davis and Taylor has been a nice boost for the Ghost Ballers in the early going.
And the biggest thing I look at is don't get outplayed. They are out hustling the enemies, and that's what it takes. It's all the little details of this Big 3 game, because it switches over so fast, right? 14 seconds on the shot clock, the shot goes up. Now what? It's that game right in the middle. Who's going to rebound? Who's going to hustle and make that extra play? And right now, the Ghost Ballers are doing that with Taylor as well as Ricky Davis right now.
Ice Cube courtside for this one. Season 4 of the Big 3 in 5 years, obviously off last year to the pandemic, but back in a big way, and back here in Las Vegas once again. Taylor, the great D. Davis there, denied. Thought it was goaltend, won't get it. Like the energy thus far. The 3 won't go, and we get a whistle. This is off the ball on Mike Taylor.
But I love the defense here. Right there, Taylor in, denies. Stewart comes up big with the block. That's the Trojan in there again. Let me point that out, folks.
The Spirit of Troy, only 4 hours away in Vegas.
Absolutely.
Austin knows. Stewart flicks it up in midair. Nifty move by Elijah Stewart.
Yeah, and I talked to Austin before the game, and he said he was anxious, a little bit, really wanting to get this win. And you want to have a winning season. Again, when you look at the regular season, a game every weekend, it's tough. And you don't want to walk away and have a whole week of thinking about those losses. And so he already has one, and he said he was anxious. That time he was a little rushed on that shot. Coming out, coach just subbed him out, maybe take a break, take a breather. Slow down a little bit. Your shots are there, but I would just say slow down a little bit, going a little too fast.
Ricky Davis sizing up a 2-point shot and gets the bounce. So for the enemies, Lisa, right now, you have Jordan Hill in with Stewart and Perry Jones. And for the Ghost Ballers, change for the Iceman, Chris Johnson, along with Ricky Davis, and now Shane Gatson into the game as well. Hop step, reverse, not there, and contact on a strong move by Elijah Stewart. And yes, the Trojan is only 25, and maybe this is a pathway to getting more attention, maybe getting into the league, is going to the line for a 2-point shot.
Yeah, exactly. Elijah Stewart doing a nice job of really, and here's the thing, when you're not the big name guy, or you're the guy everybody's focusing on, you get that single coverage. And I even tell my guys, attack. Everybody knows that ISO Joe is in the gym and that the ball is going to him, but you also have to be effective when you have those opportunities. And Stewart doing a great job of taking every opportunity that he gets and attacking the basket and really being a threat defensively as well.
That's what makes the great ones great, right? Well defended, everyone's throwing all they have at you, and guys like Joe Johnson, with the game on the line, just find that extra something to deliver.
Always. And lucky to have him on our team with the team triplets. But even looking out here, you see Taylor, a big shot maker, and you have to know where he is at all times. Davis as well. Nick Young has that ability, but Stewart's really making a name for himself.
Oh, 4-point shot. Couldn't hit it. Taylor off the fake, glides and scores, and the foul. And it's been the Mike Taylor show in the first half.
And you got to give Mike Taylor a lot of love, because he's a guy who didn't really have the career that he wanted to in the NBA, but his ability right here, small, fake the ball, take it to the basket, strong, finishing inside. And he just talked about, he's played overseas, played over in Egypt, had an amazing time, won championships in Qatar and Poland and Korea all in the same season. Like, this guy is a winner. And I asked him, what do you bring to the team? He said it's all about energy and controlling what you can control.
He's got 14, but Elijah Stewart hanging tough for the Enemies. Got a 1-point game. Enemies looking for their first win. Gatson off the dribble. Deny, Jones doesn't have to clear. Hill couldn't convert.
Those are the chippies that just, you hope that didn't come back to haunt you.
Taylor, no. Kept it alive, though. Gatson. Third chance for the Ghost Ballers. Nice pass, but Craig Smith could not handle.
Craig Smith, got to be ready. He just subbed in. You got to have your hands ready. You saw the second, third, fourth chance opportunities with those rebounds with Ghost Ballers, and they come up short.
Craig Smith, against his former team, was with the Enemies 2 years ago. Inbound stolen. Enemies want a foul. Taylor. Rhino, Craig Smith. One to shoot. Almost in and out.
Yeah, Craig Smith really has the touch, and they know that he's a threat from the outside. But hey, get some. I love that jumper by Jones. Another big, stretching the floor. And that's the great thing about how the game is changing and evolved. All of these big men out here have the ability to knock down long 2-pointers or 3-point shots, and even the 4-point shot, which is really cool.
How about Jeremy Pargo yesterday for Three's Company? Lisa, he made 3 4-point shots, including the game winner.
I know, I got to let Joe know about that, because Joe has to lead the league in 4-point shots. Fargo's doing a great job. He played phenomenal as well. He's been shooting the 3-point ball as well as 4-point ball well for Three's Company, coming up with their first win yesterday.
Timeout here. That last shot for Jones was a 2. His foot was on the line in the corner, and Gilbert Arenas, I think he's saying that was a 3. I'll be honest, with the naked eye, it looked like a 2. And for now, the Enemies, their lead is 23-22.
Well, there's a simple thing. Why don't he just challenge it?
So the ruling is that the Enemies didn't clear the lane, which you must do. Listen to Agent Zero.
Right, but what happens is the same thing happened on our team. Joe Johnson got a rebound, dribbled it out, shot a 3, but Al Jefferson did not clear the lane. Therefore, our 3-pointer was taken away. It's tough when the coaches learn about all of the different rules that come in the Big 3. But the shot goes up, Jones runs out, but his post players never clear. His other teammates never clear the paint. and therefore the shot does not count.
Now, 2 years ago, Gilbert Arenas was living this life as a player. So he knows the rules and the nuances as a player, and still pleading his case as they wipe off the shot from Jones.
Yeah, it's a tough rule, and I too was pleading to the officials, are you serious right now? But that's a part of it. The guys have to clear the lane, which makes sense because we have huge guys, 7-footers that they could just stand in the paint and get a rebound and you throw it right back into them. It would be an unfair advantage.
Taylor got his own rebound. Unreal. To the basket and was clotheslined and fouled by Jones. Remember, first team to 25 gets us to halftime here in the Big Three.
And it's just the engine for me. When you look at Mike Taylor, I mean, he is everywhere. He takes the shot. He's the first person who knows that that shot is off. But guess what? He's also the first person to get to the rebound. And those are the details that help you win Big Three games.
Big screen from Craig Smith. Taylor gets open for three, nails it. A huge first half for Mike Taylor. I think it's Taylor time.
It is definitely Taylor time. And you know what? Let me just tell you, this guy does so much for the community. He has his foundation, the Taylor Made Foundation, 414.org. And it's a great foundation for you guys to get out there and support.
Young man from Milwaukee, Wisconsin has the Ghost Ballers up at the break on CBS.
The Big Three on CBS Sports is sponsored by SuperDraft, the official fantasy partner of the Big Three. Play now at big3superdraft.com.
Here in Las Vegas at the break of Game 1, Ghost Ballers lead the Enemies 25-21. Ed Cohen back with the Hall of Famer Lisa Leslie. Ghost Ballers trying to get to 2-0. Looked the part in that first half. Some really good shooting for Mike Taylor.
Yes, Mike Taylor was outstanding, and he did really everything, whether it was the three-point shots. I loved his attack, his ability, get him on the floor, obviously for Davis, getting him the ball, but it was just his relentless effort from everywhere. The pump fake, getting in, the and one. Then you know the three-point shot was on. He was money from range and just counting it basically from everywhere on the court.
George Gervin's team up at the break. Let's go over to Spider Sally. Oh, great stuff. And Lisa, 6 kids. He's in great shape, but the baby proofing can only do so much when you're running around the house.
Hey, a dad of 6. I got a chance to meet his daughter and take a picture before the game began, and he's a proud father. And, you know, I think we are all learning so much more about food and our choices, and so I'm learning more about what it means to be a vegan. Not quite ready to go that far, but I just think the education is important, and I'm happy that the Big Three is really taking that initiative to bring the awareness.
Second half underway as Gatson missing for the Ghost Ballers. Ricky Davis is 41. Gatson from behind is called for the foul. I think a great theme in the Big Three, and you see it with your players getting ready for games with the triplets. The guys take such great pride in being in shape, working hard, and still being able to play at an elite level into their 40s. In Mahmoud's case, into his 50s.
Absolutely, and you know, I spoke with Gilbert Arenas, who talked about his team understanding the importance of chemistry, but not just showing up thinking you're going to play 3-on-3, you know, basketball without practicing, without taking care of your body. And he told his team how Joe Johnson works out and does hot yoga, and how he's always in the gym, and then finding time to play basketball with his teammates, or how Coutinho also gets his teammates together, and they've started practicing during the summer. And it is important how you take care of your body as these guys age. Is so important, and it makes a difference. You can see it out there, especially when you get to the second half.
Huge. Now the Enemies, they're the youngest team in the Big Three, and a lot of new faces, including Isaiah Austin, 27 years old. Many remember that he was a great player at Baylor and declared for the NBA drafts in 2014. Mike Taylor had a technical free throw there and missed it. But Isaiah Austin diagnosed with Marfan syndrome after declaring for the NBA draft, a genetic disorder that affects the body's connective tissue. But here he is now, #1 pick in the Big 3 Super Draft as Taylor hits another jumper.
Yeah, and it's great to see Isaiah have the opportunity to get out here, and we'll see. You never know. There's been, you know, Joe had an opportunity, Joe Johnson, that is, to go and try out with the Detroit Pistons in the NBA, and it would be great for any player who's played in this Big 3 that's young enough, that has the talent that and Isaiah Austin does, to have the opportunity to get into the NBA, and we would love to see that happen for him.
Taking over the summer, season 4 of the Big 3. And a guy who's taken over this game has been Mike Taylor. Lisa, with 19 points now to lead the Ghost Ballers.
Mike Taylor is just, I mean, it's unbelievable that he did not play in the NBA, because he has so much skill, talent, and his energy. And he talked about how blessed he just feels to be able to play in front of his kids still, and his family, you know, here. Obviously, he told me to give a shout out to the Milwaukee Bucks. You know, he's a Milwaukee guy. And also this Tuesday, July 20th, in Milwaukee at the McGovern Park, guys, he has something for kids, the starting kids ages 5 through 14, 3-on-3. They're teaching basic fundamentals, so make sure you guys check that out. You can go to TaylorMade Foundation 414.org to find out more.
There's that during the day. Then you go to the Deer District at night.
There you go. Oh, it's a party.
Get ready for Getting 6. It is a big basketball Tuesday in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Ghost Ballers with it and a 6-point lead. Work inside out. Gatson, teardrop is good. Around and through for Shane Gatson.
That was a really nice move, and he had to take it slow, because you know Austin was coming for the block.
Gatson turned 41 yesterday. A belated happy birthday as Austin able to play through the contacts.
And you can see the Ghost Ballers really have a mismatch with Austin out there with Gatson, but hey, that's what you want to see your big man do, turn and shoot over the top.
Oh, wipe it off. Taylor not happy. Dave Posner emphatic in saying that the foul came before the shot.
Definitely, that was a great call, and I know Taylor's over there fussing about it, but here, this is a nice drive on the inside. Taylor wanted that basket, but didn't count.
Denied by Young, in midair, put back no. Johnson jarred it loose, but Rhino, Craig Smith, could not keep it on the deck.
And Craig Smith, he really has to take a look at himself. I don't know that he's quite ready, and I remember him being so much more effective, being able to knock down threes, and he's constantly has the second or third loose ball that he didn't come up with.
Stewart with the finish and the foul, going right at the big fella. And what a game in spots for the former Trojan, Elijah Stewart.
And Stewart really just balling. I love the way that he used his body. He knows that Chris is a great shot blocker. He uses his body to shield Chris from being able to even reach over the top. And now he's at the free throw for an and one.
Born in Louisiana and out of Westchester High School in Los Angeles. Austin, second chance. Johnson with the block. Taylor, hop step into traffic, stolen. Nick Young couldn't finish. Craig Smith tees up
There he
the three and
is.
buries it.
Now that's the Craig Smith I'm used to seeing. The guy who can get out there and knock down the three ball, but being really, you know, physical on the inside. It's interesting because the mismatch here is that keeps happening when they switch, puts the bigs in a tough spot. Here you have Smith trying to guard Nick Young, and Nick Young not able to capitalize.
Johnson fouls. He'll get a 2-point shot, but the benefit, if you're a big guy and a shot does not hit the rim, you go right back up. You don't need to clear.
That is a huge benefit, and sometimes it takes the big guys a second for whatever reason to adjust to an air ball, like turn and dunk it, you know. And sometimes they'll start to clear it when that's can be a missed opportunity if you don't react fast enough. Quite a few free throws missed here as well. When you know you get 2 points for that one, every free throw is really important, especially down the stretch.
Smith to Taylor. On the switch, gets by Austin. Didn't hit the rim. That's a shot clock violation. That was a good defensive possession for the Enemies, and they're hanging tough, trailing 32-25. And now the captain summoned back in, Ricky Davis. for Craig Smith. So they'll go a little more traditional now, along with Taylor and Johnson.
Well, right now, I think if I was Iceman, I'd tell Ghost Ballers to just keep your emotions in check. Stop looking for a call from the officials and stay aggressive. And then you see the enemies doing a nice job. I think, again, Stewart capitalizing on the fact that Ghost Ballers are complaining. Attack the basket. You're more likely to get fouled and get to the free throw line. Just got to knock down these free throws.
Yeah, one here for 2 points. I don't think Davis was set. If you're foul shooting a three-point shot, which as a coach I'm sure you can relate to, you never want to see, but it's one shot for three, and if there's the rare case you're foul shooting a 4-point shot from the circle, it's one shot for 4 points here in the big three.
Yeah, and we actually experienced that for the first time yesterday, where Joe got fouled shooting the three, made the three, and got one free throw to make it, 3 points. But I thought it was going to be that we made the 3-point shot and you shoot from the 3-point line. Of course, I wanted more points, but that was not the correct rule.
Look at this guy, Lisa. I mean, the hustle, possession to possession for Mike Taylor.
It's Mike Taylor's effort. One of the reasons why I am a part of the Big Three. When I came and watched as a fan and I saw how hard these men are playing and how serious they are, like every single possession, they're getting after it. That's all you can ask for as a coach. That heart and effort, bring it in. And Mike Taylor brings it, and it's contagious. It's a synergy and an energy that he passes on to his teammates as well.
Slam down on the follow. Elijah Stewart after the Austin miss for the enemies.
But can we give Elijah Stewart some real love? Like, this dude is out here balling. Like, I love his effort. He's going against bigs, boxing out, blocking out, rebounding. That's the effort that is going to take for the enemies to walk away with a win today as well.
What a finish. Poked away, gliding in for the stuff. It's Stewart again, and the enemies right back in this one.
Ed, I'm so happy this game has turned out to be exactly what I thought it was going to be. It's just a monster matchup. Every single possession, you don't know who's going to do it. Mike Taylor really making the difference with his effort. He's really a difference maker. Doesn't matter. He had a 7-footer on him. Here, what does he do? Attack the basket, run a floater. He has no fear when it comes to going up against these big guys at all.
Stewart denied and fouled. You talk about liftoff against Chris Johnson. Elijah Stewart, he's USC's all-time leader in threes made, hit 245 in college, but we're seeing a different element to his game in going to the basket.
Well, he's aggressive, and he's still young enough to say, hey, there's a team out there. You have NBA coaches sitting on the sidelines. Like, you don't miss your opportunity. But I love the fact that he's so aggressive, attacking the basket, and he sees Chris Johnson's in there. That's how you want to take the ball. Like, come get some, big fella. Either you're going to foul me or you're going to get dunked on. And Stewart took the ball in there exactly the way he should. That's why he's at the free throw line.
22 now for Elijah Stewart, and the enemies within one. He's got 22 of their 33 points. Davis on a turnaround, doesn't get the bounce. Stewart may have Nick Taylor, 2 to shoot. Austin stripped. Davis, good hands. Now, will there be time to get a shot away? They're going to put 1 on the shot clock.
1 second on the shot clock with a 7-footer on the floor. And I just hope that he does not. Why would the 7-footer take the ball out of bounds? That me as the coach, I'm like, you put him on the floor because he has an opportunity to get a back screen, a dunk at the rim, but instead you take the big guy and put him out of bounds. I don't know about this call.
Maybe get a alley-oop or Jones. Tip for Austin, and out of bounds. Oh, it's going to stay with the enemies, and Taylor doesn't like it.
Well, when I look at that play, I just think it was a missed opportunity with 1 second. I would have had Stewart take the ball out. Now you have an option of a 6'9" and a 7'1" guy out on the floor to get to the basket.
Works that time. You know, Agent Zero was right in front of us. I thought you were going to pull him aside and say, hey, coach, I got an idea for you on the baseline out of bounds.
Next time, I'll let him know after we play them.
Chris Johnson denied. Austin the block and the slam. Get out of his way.
That's my guy. When you look at Isaiah Austin, just the fight, the heart, the effort, and he was looking forward to this matchup against Chris Johnson as well. So beautiful block shot, and that's the way you want to finish, especially when you're on CBS in the Big Three. Big Austin making it happen here.
Last week you were really upset. This week you just calmed down, dunking on people. What's going on in your head?
Man, I'm just trying to play hard, man. I want to get a win this week, you know, so we can go into next week breaking even. So I'm just out here trying to play hard for my team.
All right, good job. Back to you guys.
All right, Spider. Lisa, here's the reason why he was the #1 pick in the Big Three Super Drafts. We saw it on this possession.
Yeah, I love the block shot, and then just the dunk with the authority, trying to send a message, get his team hype. That's the energy you need to come in here. Again, he said he really wanted to leave today with a win, and Isaiah really doing everything he can to get his team this victory.
Great to be with you. Big Three on CBS. Simon Cohen with the Hall of Famer, the coach, broadcaster, mother, realtor. Did I miss anything?
Public speaker.
You got it all.
I try to do it all. I wear a lot of hats, but it's a great thing to be a part of this Big Three as one of the first black female coaches to win a championship coaching professional men, being the second woman alongside Nancy Lieberman. I'm honored to be a part of the Big Three family.
Argument here in terms of who gets the possession. It was knocked out of bounds. Ghost Ballers thought it was last touched by the Enemies.
Well, you know, it's an easy solution if the coaches want to challenge, just challenge. Otherwise, you have to go with what the official says. Mismatch on the inside, see if they can take advantage of it. Oh, my goodness.
Jones hacked and fouled by Craig Smith. But to your point, and you mentioned this earlier, you leave those types of shots at the rim or don't convert at the foul line, it could bite you when you're trying to get to 50 points.
You know, my biggest advice for the big guys on the inside is get in the gym and do the mic and drill. Left hand, right hand, get you 50, because that's just simply touch. You either have to have touch around the rim or you got to dunk it. Those are your only two options. But to come up short on a chippy is just unacceptable. And those are the points that come back to bite you. I know Jones wished he could get that basket back, but he's really got to also knock down the free throw.
When you're the first player to dunk in WNBA history, those words go a long way, right?
Hey, I like to say I pride myself on having great touch around the rim. You have to be able to do that, especially as a big on the inside.
How about this guy? Mike Taylor always has a next option, and the Ghost Ballers back within 3.
Listen, I'm watching Mike Taylor like I'm not sure when the triplets face him, but he's a problem.
Right there, ball is an air ball, and Taylor in the right spot. 39-38, Enemies by 1. And Agent Zero wants a TO here for the Enemies.
Well, what's nice is Mike Taylor, it comes with so much energy, and sometimes that energy can be negative if you keep constantly talking to the officials. But I like the fact that he's come out here strong, using his energy to get his team going and really attacking the basket.
Taylor now with 25 points for the Ghost Ballers. We want you to be part of the postseason. Big Three playoffs and the championship are in the Bahamas, and tickets go on sale tomorrow. You can get them at big3.com/tickets, and we'll see you there later this year. Now, Triplets trying to defend their title. We'll see if it's an easy path down to the Bahamas. Let's go back to the moves by Taylor.
Taylor's just getting it done. I mean, his post game, the up and under is nice. Here's the extra hustle play. He gets on the inside, and of course he thinks he's fouled every single time, which, you know, that's his high octane energy that he brings. But look at it, it's contagious for his teammates. and he's probably not going to run out of that energy. But what I thought Coach Arenas did a good job. Timeout. Try to slow him down. Your guys, we're really still up by 1, and look at it and see what we can do better. You have to match his energy. You have to find ways to get him off the board, and you have to come up with those 50-50 balls.
Start of the day here in Las Vegas. It's game 1 of 3. And 2 days of action this weekend here in Sin City. Big Three's back next week. And I think many around the league are very excited, not just about what's to come at the end of the year in the Bahamas, but the 3 weeks of games in New Orleans coming up in late July and early August.
Definitely looking forward to that. See if we can get some gumbo while we're down there. Have a few beignets. Is it called beignets?
Beignets.
Beignets.
I took 7 years of French, and it didn't stick.
It didn't stick. So we're definitely going down to New Orleans to have some good meals and have a good time. I know the people in New Orleans really appreciate the Big Three. We played there a few years ago. I'm excited to go back as well.
They're going to take a look at the latest call here with the Enemies leading 39-38.
All right.
Let's review. Did Davis get it, or was it last touched by Perry Jones?
Interesting. Let's see who this ball goes off. Enemies. What'd you think? What do you say?
Jones's left hand was in front of Davis's.
Definitely. I'd say it's ghost ball or it's ball. But that's just me. I'm not the official. Let's see what they decide.
This might be the angle.
See, the big fella has to catch that. That's his bag. I'm just saying, these guys, you got to catch the ball before you go trying to make another move. You have to catch it secure. And that is the right call, ref. I'm excited to be over here on the mic to tell you that that is the correct call.
Confirmation.
It is ghost baller's ball.
Amandeep Samra, appreciate him coming over. The officials do such a good job. The group of 10 of them who rotate week to week in the Big Three. Dave Posner, Gerda Gatling, Amandeep Samra here today in game 1. Taylor spinning. Good D by Stewart. Davis, mid-range, lights it up.
And Ricky Davis has been a little quiet, but I mean, of course, because Mike Taylor's been on fire. But Ricky Davis, obviously an excellent shooter, can also take the ball to the basket. They have a very similar game, but Mike Taylor's just been on fire.
How about this guy, Austin? That's the range that makes him really scary at 7'1".
At 7'1", he can shoot the 3 ball very well. Probably can knock down the 4. I haven't quite seen him take that yet, but I'm sure he's capable.
Smith triple team, shot no good, but he's fouled. Chance to give the Ghost Ballers the lead again. Let's go back to Austin.
Well, Austin again, here's the guard skills I told you he had. Between the legs, step back right over the top of Craig Smith.
12 and 7, 3 blocks. And now Craig Smith, a 2-point shot at the foul line. Second year in the Big Three, played 2 years ago with the Enemies. And now the rematch against his former team. Shots from the line for both teams really have not been there in this first game. 41-40 Enemies. Smith off the dribble, blocked by Austin. Hit the side of the backboard and will stay with the Ghost Ballers.
Yeah, that time I think Ghost Ballers could have gotten a better shot. A little bit more activity. They have such fast guys. I'd like to see them sort of do a little pass and pick away, get a little bit more movement with their quickness and get the slasher, you know, Ricky Davis cutting to the basket.
Nick Young, the captain, returns for the Enemies with Austin and Stewart. Ghost Ballers with Mike Taylor about to inbound. Craig Smith, Ricky Davis out there for the Iceman. George Gervin, a mainstay in the Big Three, Lisa, in his 4th year as Ghost Ballers head coach.
Iceman, I love Iceman. Such an excellent player and coach out here getting it done, trying to get his guys another win in the books.
Cross crossover and the finish. Isaiah Austin in a groove in Vegas.
Isaiah Austin really just coming through. He's pumping himself up. Like, these big men cannot guard me. Let me show you what I got with the crossover to the left. I love the fact that he's just fired up. Get a little shimmy in there.
And the three-point play.
Okay, so it looks like it's make it take it for the enemies, because the foul situation, they are now in bonus.
Austin sitting on 15 points. One-on-one with Smith. Ball stripped, good D by Davis. Taylor, the dump down. Smith. Hesitation, but it rolled off the rim.
Ooh, Smith. Smith having a tough outing this afternoon, but he's going to stick with it. But that was really nice. Nice pump fake, excellent. Ball just rolling around, really rolling around the rim and not dropping in for Craig Smith, who did a really nice job.
That was Caddyshack-esque. Just couldn't go down the chute. Lisa, new to the Big Three this year, bring the fire, and we're about to bring the fire.
Look
It's
at
happening.
you, right on cue.
Gilbert Arenas says, let's make Smith earn it against Elijah Stewart.
Well, to bring the fire again, you start outside the three-point line. You have 3 seconds to get inside, and then it's on. 10 seconds to score the ball. And of course, you don't want to foul the player during the fireball, because then they get the 2 points.
Taco Bell, bring the fire. Smith is going to have his hands full against Stewart. Wow, the fake, the drive, got it, and he's fouled. Rhino, what do you say?
Whoa, that was awesome. He said, get some, little fella. You better get in that weight room. You want to see the Rhino. Take it to the basket. Now, that was excellent. Look at this replay here. You got the fake. Rhino beat him on the drive, taking it in, and then Iceman loved it. What? Rhino is in the building. Look at Iceman say, and one. You don't want to see the Rhino one-on-one.
He is still cooler than everybody else in the gym, and what this guy did felt prehistoric, and he needed some time to breathe after that.
Wait a minute, Ed. We got a lot of cool cats in this gym. Now, nobody's cooler than Dr. J in this building, ever. And then the second coolest guy has got to be Clyde Drexler. Come on.
So George Gervin,
yeah, he's third for sure on the coolest men in the gym.
there's the commissioner
There he is.
of the Big Three. Clyde the Glide.
Clyde Drexler.
Dr. J and Tri-State coming up next against Bivouac. Taylor sucks everybody in. Craig Smith drains the three. Excuse me. Chris Johnson nails it. Ghost Ballers by 1.
Yeah, and you have to know Chris Johnson, that is his range, just as it is Austin's range. These two players similar in every way. Their ability to shoot the 3 ball as well as the crossover jumper.
Johnson, big board. Fires. Knocks down 2 in a row. And the Ghost Ballers with point game in Vegas. Swaggy P is shaking up for the enemies.
I think Swaggy P came down on someone's foot. He slightly rolled his ankle, but that's a tough
8-0
player.
Ghost Ballers run. Stewart, almost. Good D by Davis. Taylor thought about trying to save it, and the call is, that was a smart move. Stays with the Ghost Ballers.
That's what I love about this game, is that, you know, the challenge, you get a chance to make sure the officials got it right. But then when you get here, right here when it's game point, you have an opportunity to win. Sometimes it doesn't always go right. Players get a little tight, or they try to do too much. But we'll see what Mike Taylor decides to do.
Went over the top, knocked away. Race for it. Taylor to the spot. Pulls up over Jones. Johnson, another chance for the Ghost Ballers. Lane's open. Over Austin. Got it! Back leg and good. And the Ghost Ballers win it. They're 2-0.
That was a beautiful play. It was a broken play. Chris Johnson did a nice job of getting low, pushing that ball through, got the matchup that he wanted. Nice fadeaway for the game winner.
If you're to look back at a turning point, it's probably Bring the Fire with Craig Smith, and then Johnson closing it out in style for the Ghost Ballers.
Great team effort. You got to give Mike Taylor a lot of credit. He and his energy did a nice job. The bench, everybody into it and excited for Chris Johnson. And I got to say, I'm happy for Chris Johnson as well, because he is the player that I actually drafted for the triplets before we traded for Jamario Moon.
Over to John Sally with Mike Taylor.
All right, Mike, I was right. We were here early, you and I. You were the first one on the court working out for this.
Yeah, I mean, that was the plan, to get here early. We got the first game, so it was unlimited time before. So I made sure that I was the first person in the building. Lisa came first, then you came second. So, you know what I'm saying?
I came before Lisa. I just let her walk out because I'm a gentleman.
Okay.
No, she did. But look what happened on the court.
Yeah.
Very intense the way you go at it.
Yeah, I mean, that's my strength. So I play to my strength, is to bring that energy, make my team elevate to it, and that's what we did at these. At the end, we was able to stay with it.
Till next week. Good job.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to my guy Anton Murphy. He died in Milwaukee this past weekend. His funeral was just this weekend. I was out here.
All right. Way to play.
Condolences to Mike Taylor. But the Ghost Ballers behind the Milwaukee native, winners in Las Vegas. Johnson seals it in game one.